your boy JP Digital. We got a disturbing update. Cleveland rapper Big Dawg Chino died January 25th, 2026. Now, when the news first started circulating online, the internet was already running with a whole different story. There was rumors going around that Chino had overdosed because of a live video he had done earlier. And when I tell you social media went crazy, social media went crazy.
Breaking news. Big Dawg Chino is gone.
Days later, it was confirmed that Big Dawg Chino was actually killed. And what made the story even more shocking is that the person responsible was one of his own homies. For y'all who might not be familiar with Big Dawg Chino, Big Dawg Chino was a well-known rapper coming out of Cleveland and was part of the what I would consider the golden era of Cleveland rap scene. This was around the time when artists like Ray Jr., YFL Kelvin, Ghacha, Bae Bae Savo, Roota Bang, Ripp, and Pooh Gutta was all on and active making noise at one time. The rapper was also known for being one of the most outspoken and controversial rappers ever to come out of Cleveland.
Dog so my mama. My dog on here, I'm telling y'all, I'm not faking. My dog is he's a trapper. He not no gangster. What you talking about?
What that got to do about me being on the block?
Chino,
what that got to do about me being on the block?
You want trapping?
Ain't nobody text what you talking about.
Never holding back on how he feel and always saying exactly what came on his mind. Chino stayed in the drama.
She make money. She do her thing. But she don't know what to do with the money on. She get all the money on and spend it to have fun young. Now she done young. So
he's known for having beefs with artists such as Goldie 14 and EC Marv.
Old smoke before they start some new smoke. I say on the ground, you dig? Big dog, you dig? Big Goldie, you dig?
Chino eventually ended up moving to Georgia over 4 years ago to pursue his music career. One of the first people he linked up with was a dude named Nuke from the A well-known tour guide in the area who introduced him around and showed him the ropes around the city. Through them connections, Chino later met a rapper named 357 Smaxka, who was at the time somebody he started spending a lot of time around. During this time period, Big Dawg Chino's career was actually starting to gain momentum. He was building relationships in Atlanta and creating a network for himself. Even though in Cleveland he had a reputation as a heartless, down in Atlanta he began getting cool with a lot of the people in the blue community, which isn't really unusual seeing that a large portion of Atlanta is like 90% blue. As this buzz continued to grow, promoters was booking Chino to perform at venues. Chino eventually ended up getting signed with Loud House Studios for $30,000. And from what people around the situation said, he quickly became the top artist on the label. Now, while Chino was down in Atlanta building connections and growing his career, things would take a turn for the worse. Early 2025, Chino was arrested and ended up sitting in jail for around 11 months before being released Christmas, December 25th, 2025.
He say, y'all ain't gotta tell me y'all miss me. I'm too focused standing on business.
I'm out here, man, loaded up. We free the guys till they are free, man. This shit going on, but I'm here, man. They like, oh.
But only a few weeks after getting out, Chino would end up being murdered, and the person responsible was his own friend, Atlanta rapper 357 Smaxka, the same rapper who was always around. And Chino introduced him to his friends, his family, and bruh even appeared in a lot of Chino's music videos. So people who follow Chino's movements have already seen this guy plenty of times. And let's be honest, Chino was in the spotlight while Smaxka was always playing a background role. Chino's people started paying attention to Smaxka's energy. Friends of Chino described him as standoffish, fishy, and always kind of like observing the scene. Some people said they even felt like he was always watching and plotting. In fact, multiple people told Chino to stop messing with bruh because they felt like something was off and they got a bad vibe and warned him not to trust bruh. But let me get to the juice. The two beef didn't appear overnight. Even before Chino went to jail, the two had already had issues. At one point, Smaxka actually stole Chino's Draco. After the situation happened, Smaxka apologized and promised to Chino he would make it right. And he told him he would do whatever it took to fix the situation. And Chino eventually forgave him. Fast forward, Chino goes to jail, get released, and weeks later was murdered. But a week before the murder, the two ended up getting into a fight at a gas station called Chevron in Lithonia, Georgia. The night of the murder, Chino and Smaxka went over a female's house in Lithonia, Georgia. Chino was upstairs with the female and told her he had to go get his Rolex from Smaxka from downstairs because Smaxka was wearing it because he told Chino he wanted to make some TikTok videos. Chino came downstairs with no socks and no shirt. Chino and Smaxka made a phone call to a popular social media personality in Capone. And Capone was the last person to speak to Chino while he was alive. After the phone call, Chino was scrolling on Instagram, breaking down weed about to roll up. While Chino had his back turned, Smaxka shot him in the head and ran out with Chino's Rolex. The female ran downstairs, seen him on the floor, and started screaming. But there was camera footage that showed the whole thing. In addition to the house footage, there was also outdoor footage that showed a little of what happened outside. Smaxka ran outside and was seen getting into a white vehicle. But here's where it gets messy. There's a plot twist. The woman was actually married, and Chino and the woman husband, whose nickname Pluto, is actually allegedly a hood blood member. Like, they were familiar with each other, however, they didn't rock with each other because they was trapping on the same block. The woman's husband had seen her multiple times dropping off Chino at the Chevron gas station to go get shells. The husband has also been described as someone who don't get their hands dirty. People say he's known for getting things done and putting money on people's head. But the plot gets even deeper. Smaxka was actually cool with the husband. And after Chino was shot and Smaxka ran out the house, he was seen getting in a white vehicle, the same type of car the woman's husband drives. The woman was later asked about the white vehicle, and she later admitted that her husband drove the same car that Smaxka got into. However, she later on became very defensive about the situation, stated her husband would never do nothing like that. He wasn't involved. Y'all got the wrong person, y'all thinking. And not long after that, she posted on Instagram that she was moving out of town. Now, I ain't gonna lie, situations like this always make people start asking questions because when you hear a married woman is moving around with a rapper, the first thing that people start to think is, where was the husband at all this time? Like, when you hear the rapper was spending this much time around somebody's wife, the internet automatically starts looking at the husband sideways. Like, did bruh actually know what was going on, or was he the last to find out? Now, I ain't gonna lie. If you follow Big Dawg Chino, people already knew he had a reputation when it came to women. Folks in the city used to say Chino didn't care who somebody was related to. If he liked the woman, he was going after that regardless.
Listen. Hey, Endo, baby, listen. It's me, so I ain't gonna do that. You ain't gotta sneak this me on the ground. You know.
And that type of situation always brings drama because when a dude is known for messing with people's wives, girlfriends, even people's sisters and moms, that kind of lifestyle eventually puts you in a situation where somebody don't feel disrespected. Now, some people look at that and said Chino was just living a rap lifestyle, moving around, dealing with women, not really worrying about the consequences. Fast forward to the funeral. It was an open casket, but people who attended said that the rapper didn't really look like himself. Multiple Instagram videos started circulating online showing what was going on during the service. And if you watch those clips, the energy in the room looked a little different from the traditional things you would expect at a funeral. Instead of people sitting quietly mourning, you could see people turning up, dancing, and recording videos inside the church. Eventually, the church had enough and kicked everybody out because they got too out of control. But while people were still reacting to everything online and trying to make sense of the situation, investigators were still looking for the person responsible because at this point, Smacker wasn't in custody yet. Smacker had already left the scene and was on the run. And during that time, Smacker confessed to a mutual associate on the phone about his motive. He stated Chino was down there doing too much and he felt like Chino was showing out in his own city and took the spotlight from him. Now let's keep it 100. When one person is in the spotlight and the other one is always playing a sidekick but never really getting the same attention, that dynamic get real strange real quick. Because while one person is on stage doing the interviews, getting the recognition, the other person is just in the background watching everything play out. We've seen that play out multiple times. Like, look at the Migos situation. When the group first came out, it was clear that Quavo was the one getting a lot of the spotlight, doing most of the hooks, leading the songs, and was being the face of the interviews, while the others still played a part of the group but was not getting enough attention like the other one at the time. Now, before we get more into what happened after the murder, if y'all don't remember the beef between EC Marv and Big Dawg Chino.
What's up? What's up? Pull up. Everybody tag EC Marv, man. He's a bill. Pull up, man.
They had one of the biggest rap beefs in Cleveland at the time. The two were going back and forth for a while, dissing each other on multiple occasions, trading shots on social media.
I ain't gonna lie, he played me on the internet on my mama. I ain't gonna lie.
DC Marv versus Big Dawg Chino boxing match. Gerald the Shooter be the host of that, man. I don't know, man.
And you know how that go. When rap beefs stay on the internet too long, eventually somebody sees somebody in real life. And that's exactly what happened. The two ended up running into each other at a studio and it turned into a fight. Now, EC Mars started to post clips of the entire fight and everything, but I gotta call it cap because I feel like what he did was, bruh ended up posting the clips of him getting over on bruh because Chino said that he was in the studio and he got snuck by bruh. So when it came down to like the beef and everything, I honestly believe with that situation, Chino was telling the truth, and I had to call it cap when it came down to Marv. But sometime after the situation, EC Marv was later shot while sitting in his car. EC Marv later moved out of town to Las Vegas years later, and Chino said that he was the reason why EC Marv ended up moving out of town. Fast forward 2026, Smaxka ended up hitting EC Marv up because if you guys don't remember the Instagram post with EC Marv posting 10K on his head, offering 10K to anybody that would unalive Chino. Smaxka actually hit up Marv to get that bread, and apparently Marv wasn't trying to pay because Smaxka was like, hey, bruh, I accomplished the mission, but Chino's people got word, and Chino's people told Marv, stay out of this beef or it's going to be consequences. But hold on. While all that was going on, something else was happening behind the scenes. The rapper was seen in pictures with the Atlanta man known as Nature Boy, a celebrity management CEO, and Chino was actually his artist. Later in a leaked video footage, the same man claimed that money had been stolen from him and to change and that Smaxka was responsible.
He kept pulling up at my condo down there, and we was going to talk about him, just sit and smoke. But then we went to Florida, we seen a couple of my clients together, they gave him stuff, and basically I had came back to the hotel, and he was leaving out, saying he was going to come right back, and he left with money I had sent to him on cash and everything. One of my chains, or two of my chains.
So he stole from you on top of all that.
I told Chino and all that about it. I told a lot of people about it.
During the call, he mentioned that him and Smaxka would go to Tokyo Valentino. For y'all who aren't familiar with Tokyo Valentino, that is a well-known adult store and nightclub in Atlanta. According to Nature Boy, it's multiple floors and it's where men go there for nightlife activities and adult entertainment. Now, while this story was getting major coverage in Cleveland/Ohio, while I was buzzing in Cleveland, my friends and family was upset because of the lack of press and media coverage about Big Dawg Chino murder and the lack of the police looking for Smaxka. But if you're familiar with Georgia, specifically Lithonia, they don't go down kicking down doors, they will catch you in traffic. But had this been Atlanta, they would have been kicked down that door because they cracking down on the crime and locking up everybody. And all the rappers is getting hit with RICO cases like Gunna's Young Thug and them. Smacker would eventually get caught and arrested in North Carolina and is currently being held by authorities while he's being prepared to be extradited back to Georgia. And just like that, a situation that started between two individuals running around in the same circle ended up with one gone and the other one sitting in the cell. That just goes to show sometimes the biggest danger ain't your enemies, it's the people right next to you. As more details come out, I'm definitely going to keep y'all updated on this case and everything surrounding it.